The following is from Spring 2010 Math 112, Department Final. In this video, I will do number 18, 19, 20, and 21. Number 18, find any missing lengths in the similar shapes. We have similar triangles here, and the one missing is this x. We need to find out what is the value. Okay? Now, similar triangles or similar shapes implies that the shape are the same, but the size are different. Okay, it's just like this one is bigger and this one is smaller. Because of that kind of similarity, then you will see the sides will be proportional. Okay, now once you know that the sides are proportional, then we can set up the proportion and solve for x. Okay. Now, for example, in this situation, I can set it up this way. Let's take that x first. X corresponds to that 24, right? Okay, so x over 24 will be equals to the corresponding sides in the other triangle, maybe 16 over 12 in this case. Okay, now that's the proportion. Now, of course, you can also say, Thomas, instead of using this pair, can I use that pair? The answer is yes, as long as these two triangles are similar. Okay, in other words, the solution for this proportion will be the same to the solution of this proportion. Okay, you can go either way. Now then, I will solve for this one. I solve for x from this proportion, and you will see I will solve it as a proportion, and later on I'll show you some little shortcut that's sometimes doable, sometimes not doable. Okay, now when we solve proportion, first thing we may consider doing is doing cross multiply. Not cross cancelling, by the way. Cross cancelling is when you multiply two fractions. Cross multiplying is when you are solving proportion. Okay, and it is done by, see, 12 times 8 equals to, that 12 times 8 is coming from here, 12 times x I mean, and then 16 times 24. Okay, I hope by writing it that way you see the reason why those people in the past call this cross multiply, because you are multiplying in the cross direction. Okay, the pair is the red part equals to the blue part. Okay, now then this will be 12x equals to, what is 16 times 24? 16 times 24, let me do it here. 24 times 16, 4 to 144. 1 times 24 is 24, so 384. Okay, so x equals to 384 over 12, and if you divide that, I think you will get 32. Okay, now therefore the answer is B. Now that's one way to solve it, but either way you do it, you need to set up the proportion first. Okay, now suppose let me show you two more other methods. I hope you don't get confused. Stick with one of them if you want, right? The second method, let me take it from here. 24 equals to 24 over 18. When you solve a proportion, one thing you need to remember that proportion may be considered an equation involving fractions. So if, for example, on the right hand side here, if you can simplify that, that may be useful. Right? Both of them are multiple of 6, right? So if I reduce by 6, this becomes 4 and this becomes 3. And then from here, you go on, apply the cross multiply method. Okay? Yeah, that's one thing. Another thing that you can think of is consider this as equivalent fractions. Okay? So, for example, 24 divided by what give me 3? Divided by 8, right? Or another way, maybe 3 times what gives you 24? Times 8. If you from right to left you multiply by 8, give you that 24, then on the top that 4 multiplied by 8 also, you will get some number, right? That will be 32. That's the answer we have. Do you realize that? This is if you do it by instinct. In fact, if we go back to the first proportion, if you look back to the first proportion, x over 24 equals to 16 over 12, and you want to consider this as a equivalent fraction, that's actually a lot easier, because 12 times what gives you 24 times 2. Therefore, on the top, if you multiply by 2, you will get 32. Okay? Now, of course, the last two methods here, like the one I say multiply by 2, that may not work if what I have here, instead of 24, let's say it's 25 or 26, which is not multiple of 12. Then at that time, you really need to do cross-multiply method. Okay? Cross-multiply method is a method to solve proportion, and it applies to every situation. Equivalent fraction method, like the one I show you here, multiply by 2, or here you multiply by 8, only applies if the numbers is multiple of the other one, or a factor of the other one. Okay? Now, but in general, cross-multiply method always works best. That's for number 18. Let's see number 19. Subtract the fraction and write your answer in the lowest term, 7 over 9 minus 1 over 12. Now let's see what is the least common denominator of these two fractions. 9 and 12, the LCD is, let me fold this. 9 and 12, the LCD is 36, right? It's 36, so let me put 36 here and 36 here. Okay, now 9 times what gives me 36? Times 4. So on the top, if I multiply by 4 also, I get 28. Right? Now 12 times what give me 36? Times 3. So on the top, if I multiply by 3, that will be 3. Then from here, I subtract, I will get 25 over 36. I don't think they have common factors, because 25 is 5 squared, 36 is 2 squared, 3 squared. If you do the prime factorization thing, right? But intuitively, you see that they don't have common factor. Okay, so that's the final answer we have. The answer is A. Okay, now some people don't do it this way. Some people, instead of finding the least common denominator, they may multiply 9 times 12. Now, you know you are taking risk by doing that kind of procedure, which I don't will not teach you, because that's actually not the way a teacher is supposed to teach you. Okay, but for number 19, that's the answer. Let's move on to number 20. Number 20, Monique sold 1/4 box of data disk on Monday, 1/8 box on Tuesday, and 5/12 box on Wednesday. What was the total number of boxes Monique sold? The total number of boxes Monique sold will be 1/4 box of data disk plus 1/8 plus 5/12. Okay, that's the total number of boxes Monique sold. Now then, how to add these? To add fractions, you need least common denominator, and the least common denominator of 4 and 8 is 8, right? The least common denominator of 8 and 12 is 24. So I put 24 on each of the fractions, and then I do equivalent fraction. 4 times what gave me 24 times 6, so on the top I multiply by 6. Okay, now here 8 times what give me 24 times 3, so on the top I will also multiply by 3. Lastly, 12 times what give me 24 times 2, so on the top I multiply by 2. Next, I will add this. I will get 6 plus 3 plus 10, that's 19 over 24, and I think we cannot simplify further. Therefore, the answer is A. Okay, now to add fractions we need LCD, and that's what we do. That's for number 20. Let's see number 21. Number 21, find the unit rate. $4,200 of $4,200 earned in 5 weeks. So the unit rate will be $4,200 over 5 weeks, right? And then what we will do is we will divide this 4,200 divided by 5. Well, what will we see? 4,200 divided by 5, that's 8,440, and then 20 here, that's 4 times 420, right? But I still have one number to fall down, and then that's 0. Now you need to be careful when you do your division. Some students, they try to do it so fast that you don't get it right. You know, what I'm afraid is you get 84 only. You know that's not right. Okay, that's not right. When you divide that properly, you will get 840. Now, then as a unit rate, it will be $840 per week. Okay, so the answer is D. Now again, this is from Spring 2010, Math 112, Department Final, number 18, 19, 20, and 21.